Hey everybody, coming to you from Florida. Just finished up with a very nice little vacation. I'm sitting by the beach. Haha. Today the talk is about nutrition. We'll talk about a few things. Number one is calorie deficit is really the only way that you're going to see weight loss. And monitoring your food intake is guaranteed going to get you to your result. It's a little bit extra dedication and work, but it pays off all the time. The education process that comes from food journaling and from monitoring your caloric intake is huge. It can last you well after you've gotten to your desired weight, because of the knowledge that you gain by how many grams of fat are in certain things, how many calories are in that extra bag, a handful of almonds that you wanted to throw on, the ice cream, Shakeology ice cream, or into your salad. It's really helpful to understand how that all impacts you, and then you get to learn what 1,200, 1,500, 1,800 calories looks like during the day. And with time, that actually becomes very ingrained into your knowledge base. You can calculate very easily how many calories you need to be at deficit. You probably want to be about 500, 600 calories in deficit every day. When you add a workout program to that, it makes it very, very easy to see weight loss at a slow and steady pace, usually about 1 to 2 pounds. I found that my body would take a week off from weight loss, and sometimes do 1.5, sometimes do 3, and there were some weeks that it would stabilize. So you might see that too. One of the aspects that I wanted to talk about are the different food programs, and everybody is going to navigate toward a certain kind of food program that works for them. Some people naturally need to eat a lot of protein, a lot of meat. Some people naturally want to eat a lot of vegetarian, vegan offerings. Some people like to have a nice little mix of that. Some people really like to do low carbs. Some people like to have definitely a good amount of carbs in there. Carbs are helpful, but if you're trying to lose some body fat quickly, you'll see that any of those 7-day quick start ones really minimize the carbs, because it makes your body go for stored fat. It's not good to do on a long-term basis, and once you've done it for 7 to 14 days, you have to start incorporating some carbs back into your daily life. But you want to start choosing the better carbs when you incorporate them in the veggies, the whole grains, and just minimize them dependent on your activity. So if you've done a resistance day, then you can put a little bit of carbs back in, but you want to get your body to access your body fat by not giving it carbs, because carbs are the gas that make you go all day. It's the fuel for the engine, and it is what makes you more energized. That's why it makes us happy. The clean plant-based nutrition seminar that I went to the other day was actually talking about carbs as carrying with them approximately 10 opiate-like receptors. And you wonder why we all crave them and we all use them as comfort food, is because they actually work on those opiate receptors. So I found that to be very interesting, and for me very much true, in that I like to eat carbs. I feel better when I eat carbs, but I found that when I do them in moderation and I do them more in whole plant-based carbs, that I do better, I feel better. A lot of the white carbs are basically just sugar, and we want to avoid those. So I'm pretty sure everybody knows that the more colorful you eat your food, the better off you're going to be, and that goes along with just the more antioxidants in them, and the better off they are for you. So always try to minimize the white foods in your world, and go for the color. One thing that I've been trying to work with is to make a commitment to eating only certain times of the day, and it really means that you sit down and you eat breakfast, you sit down and you eat lunch, you sit down and have a 4 o'clock snack, and you have a dinner, and you do not eat any other times. That's a commitment that you make. It actually is pretty easy to keep if you just say, this is what I'm going to do. What you do in between is you actually drink in between. That's the time that you take in your liquids, You can have, water would be great. You can have some green tea. That's also good for energy boosts and for burning fat. But don't do a lot of fruit juices or sugary drinks. Really try to minimize and eliminate those. Caffeine and caffeinated drinks, whether they be sodas or coffee, are very acidic, and those foods, as well as black tea, are not great for your body. So I'm going to talk about acidic products and alkalinized foods in a bit, but really committing to choosing water, maybe some green teas in between your meals. Are going to hydrate you. The more you're hydrated, the less hungry you're going to be. You're going to fill up. You're going to actually feel satiated, and therefore you won't really desire as much solid food because your body's actually getting a lot of what it needs. So you want to look at making a decision to eat at those times, and if you want to do a 10 o'clock snack in the morning, that's totally up to you. As long as you're staying within your calories, that's fine. You need to do what your body is telling you to do. And my body found that the 4 times a day was actually perfect. I also was making sure that I felt satisfied by the time I was done with my meals, and that if I needed a little bit extra, have another salad, have some more veggies, fill yourself up with those kind of free calories almost. Lots of fiber, and you'll feel good about having those in your life, and then walking away feeling satiated. So again, nutrition is 80% of this battle, and I feel it is a battle that we're trying to learn, we're trying to grow, we're trying to evolve into what our food plan is. And I look at that like that. It's like, what is my food program going to be? What is the plan of eating that I'm going to take over the next year of my life? And it does change. At some point, you may want to be more strict with your food. At some point, you may want to be more loose with your food. If you get to where your body is where you want it to be, then you want to see what is my maintenance food program going to be like. If you start adding calories, you have to look at what am I doing that I'm adding weight on by the calories that I've added. Whether it be doing too much of fried foods or too much of sugar foods, you have to look at that. But it's all a process. Nothing's wrong. I always look at every day that I experience food challenges as a process of learning, and then I'm going to do it better the next day. And when I've taken the shame out of all of that I did bad and I ate badly today, I just said, I made a few bad choices. I'm going to make better choices tomorrow. Then I don't feel like I've brought myself all the way back to a bad place. It's just I've learned something. So I'm looking at it that way now, and I encourage you to look at it like, oh, I learned something from that. How did I feel after I ate those potato chips? Didn't feel very good. And I make a choice the next day, or the next time I have potato chips is, how am I going to feel? So I find it hard that if you look at your food plan and decide to make a food plan with a goal in mind, that if the goal is fitting into a pair of shorts or fitting into a bathing suit or going to a reunion, I have a 30-year reunion coming up in June, and doing that. If that goal is enough to motivate you, that's fine. Sometimes that goal isn't enough to motivate me. Sometimes I need a closer, more immediate goal in mind. And my daily goal, when I made the choice to eat 4 times a day, was to stick to that, and that every night I felt like I accomplished a huge goal if I did that. If I only ate 4 times a day, and then I made sure I drank 10 or 12 ounces of water in between. That goal was immediate and was effective, and it helped me to reach the goal the next day because I was feeling better about myself. So to have smaller goals to me was more effective than to think about the goal 3 months from now. To get through that day is really how you deal with struggle. and you can only work on the moment or the meal that you're dealing with right now. So I would encourage you to think about what's best for you. Do you want to think about a daily goal? Do you want to think about a weekly goal? Do you want to think about a monthly goal? Do you want to think about the end goal? Sometimes about the end goal is that once you get to the end goal, then you don't know what to do with yourself. You might lose it and just gain all the weight back again, or you might say, what's my next goal? So these are things that everyone deals with. People that have gone through P90X and have lost many pounds and have had great transformation. At that point, they've reached that goal and they don't know what to do with themselves, and they sort of lose all aspects of discipline and control and go off in another direction. So everyone is more knowledgeable or on a journey of the food programs, and one thing that I wanted to share with you is the few different programs that I've learned about. Basically the blood type food programs and the Ayurvedic food programs. Ayurvedic medicine is the oldest medicine of times, and they work with food plans that are compatible with your body type, energetically and morphologically. They're the very, very high-strung, svelte people who have a high metabolism. They're called vata, and they have certain foods that they resonate with. And then they have kapha, who are the more laid-back, low-energy, sluggish kind of people who put weight on very easily. They tend to have a little bit more roundness to them, and they have food that are good for them and then are not so good for them. And then they have pitta. Pitta is sort of like middle of the road, body type that's sort of mesomorphic and muscular, easygoing, not type A, not the sluggish type, but right in the middle. And then they have food programs and food choices that are better for them. If you don't know what it's called, your dosha, it's either your vata, pitta, or kapha. It's you can look that up on whatsmydosha.com. It's actually very interesting. You take the test, and then you can look up on what choices of recommendations of foods that are good for you, or vegetables, or fats, of fruits, of meats. And I've found that a lot of the recommendations that I have found for the pitta, because I'm mostly pitta, have resonated with what I'm choosing right now to do with my life, and what I'm choosing to eat, and what has resonated well with me. The blood type diet is another very, very, very popular diet, food plan, but basically that goes back to the beginning of times when we came from different parts of the continents, and like O's originated in one place, and then A's originated in another part of the world, and then B's originated in another part of the world, and then AB's sort of came together. And they have resonated with different kinds of diets that their bodies have acclimated to. O's are meat eaters. They require a lot of protein. They do well with that. They resonate really well with that. A's are mostly vegetarians and can do a little bit of meat on occasion. That's what I am. And so what was interesting is I put the food blood type, food for your blood type, up against the Ayurvedic diet plan, and they resonated very, very closely with each other. So I recommend you to look at that. You can get it online, whatsmydosha.com, and then the diet for your blood type is actually available. You can get the little book on Amazon. It's not the whole book, because you don't really need the whole book. You can get what is exactly your blood type sent to you, and it actually talks about all the foods to avoid and to not avoid. And I found them to be very, very helpful, very knowledgeable, and I've used them for over 10 years, both of them. There is also some Chinese medicine, and I'm learning more about that, and that actually works more with disease states, and it's very, very informative, and maybe something that if it resonates with you is to go to a practitioner, and they'll actually work very, very closely with that, and I find that I've done that on many occasions. I have an Ayurvedic practitioner who does acupuncture, and he works with that kind of medicine, and has helped me a lot with diets. This gentleman also worked with me about allergies, and that helped me with tolerating more foods and doing better with bloating and things like that. So if you do have a lot of bloating, even once you're on Shakeology and you're still finding that your digestion isn't all that great, you may be dealing with some food allergies. I really recommend that people, if they are doing dairy, to trial off dairy for 3 weeks and just see what your life can be like. It's amazing how many people's abdominal bloating goes down. Their mucous membranes in their nasal cavities and in their throats clear up. Their breathing gets better and their skin gets better. So a dairy holiday is a wonderful thing to take, and really, really interesting to see how your body changes. You want to only do these one at a time so that you can see how actually your life changes with that elimination. Another food holiday is a gluten food holiday, and this is a little bit more challenging of a food holiday, but I found that it's a very nice way to eat to eliminate gluten. It's hard because you have to really learn what is gluten involved, and it's in so many foods, it's ridiculous. But it's another level of investigation about how you can feel good while finding the foods that resonate with you. So I like to do a little bit of education about different food programs, and I think those are two simple ones that you could look up on the internet and get the little guideline book about your diet with your blood type and really resonate with that. Another thing I wanted to talk about was how much protein to eat and what protein choices you're going after, and I think that's a personal choice. A lot of people feel that at least 1 pound per gram of protein a day is reasonable. A lot of people double that, but I think if you stay in around that level, that's good. Actually, I think it's a kilogram. I'm sorry. So if you're 140 pounds, it'd be about 70 kilograms. And again, some people feel that they take 140 grams of protein a day. But your body can't process a lot of protein at one time, so you really want to keep it around maybe 26 grams or under 30 for sure, because at that point, at one sitting, your body just isn't able to process that, and it's just going to dump it out of the kidneys, and it's going to stress the kidneys. So protein, comes in so many flavors, so many ways. Animal protein is very dense in calories and fat, and protein in vegetables is very low in density in that, and so you can eat much more volume. And you're getting a different kind of protein too. It's a much cleaner protein. The animal protein is going to be laden with, especially if it has fat involved in it, which sometimes you can't avoid. It's going to have chemicals that are used that the animals are eating, either in their feed if it's not organic, or the antibiotics. But to educate you about toxins is that toxins are usually held in our fat cells, and so when we're eating fat from proteins, animal sources, we're actually eating all the toxins of the animal. That would be all the pesticides that they're being exposed to in their food, in their water, and in the chemicals that they're given, forced to give to grow, either the growth hormones or the antibiotics if you're not eating organic meat. I recommend eating organic meat. I recommend eating the 12 organic vegetables that are on the Eat Clean page. And if you can't afford to eat anything else organic, then that would be all that you do. I think one of the most important aspects of eating a well-balanced diet is to know about fats. And people have such a wrong impression about fats. They're so crucial to what our body needs to metabolize all of the important building blocks: proteins, carbohydrates, and fat. Fat is so important in actually turning on the mechanism for fat burning. So it also is going to tell your brain that you're not hungry anymore. So having a protein, a carb, and a fat on every meal really is helpful to getting all of the needs met of your body. And fat is going to tell your body to stop being hungry. And you can see this when you eat carbohydrates. If you're just going to start eating French fries and a little bit of protein, you will just keep eating those French fries. There's no off button for carbs. Your brain does not see it and doesn't feel it, and will just keep ingesting and ingesting and ingesting, and until maybe your stomach starts getting sick. If you have a tiny little bit of avocado or some almonds or some olive oil, your brain actually is going to receive that, and it's going to turn a hormone on that you're now satiated. It's very high density, calorie laden, but you only need a little tiny bit of fat to do that, to have that act of turning off your ghrelin, which is that hormone that tells you that your body is hungry. So you want to incorporate fats into every meal a little bit, and that can be done with sliver almonds, sunflower seeds, avocado, olive oil, coconut oil. These are the high quality fats that you want to incorporate that are not saturated. So we talked about carbohydrates, talked about fats, talked about protein. Let's talk about water. On the Ultimate Reset, which is a 21-day really high quality cleanse. The food program is amazing. They taught us to drink distilled water with pink Himalayan salt, and it's a great idea. It's purified, but it's because it has everything taken out of it. You have to add back the minerals to the water, the nutrients to the water, because it's been taken out with the distilling process. Pink Himalayan salt can be added to a gallon of distilled water, about a quarter of a teaspoon, and then you're mineralizing the water. Now, pink Himalayan salt is a superfood and has over 84 minerals, which are giving you great mineralization in a very high quality micronized levels. And your body actually needs that really importantly. It's different from sodium chloride, which is the white table salt. And just to let you know, anything that we have in this country have made white, we've destroyed it. So pink Himalayan salt, different kinds of black sea salt, or anything like that, it still has all the nutrients associated with it. But sodium chloride, white table salt, has been stripped of anything that value to it, and all that's left is sodium and the chloride. What that does is it draws water in. So that's why salt isn't good to add to your food, because it allows you to hold on to water. And that holding on to water usually is in your blood vessels, which is in your bloodstream, which is going to elevate your elevate you to cause you to have high blood pressure. If you're doing pink Himalayan salt, it's a mineralized, very fortified salt that is not just holding on to water. It's actually allowing the water to go into the appropriate parts of your body, into the cells, into the muscles, where it's needed, not sitting in the bloodstream where the salt sits once you've ingested it. So it's a very, very appropriate, healthy way to eat salt. And that's the only thing I put on my food is pink Himalayan salt. And I actually use it very freely because it's well balanced, and it's all connected to many, many, many minerals, so it doesn't hold on to water like it does with it's just a naked chemical. What I'm going to be starting doing, which I've learned at that plant-based nutrition seminar that I went to, is to energize my water. So when we were sharing with the nutritionists that we were using distilled water and pink Himalayan salt, yes, it's very naturally protected and clean and cleared of any chemical toxins, and it's all universal, so everybody on the program is drinking the same kind of water, but it has had all of the energy taken out of the water. It has all of its life force taken out of the water. And being a spiritual person, we actually believe that life force is in the water and gives us our life force, and it's something that's very powerful. So we were sharing with someone who shared with us about the crystal water that she drinks, and what she does is she puts crystal in a decanter of water and puts it out in the sunlight and allows it to be in the moonlight, and the crystal energizes the water. I will be using my zero water filter and putting that into the decanter along with the crystal, and the crystal is a clear crystal, so it's one of those smooth, clear crystal quartz. And I'll be putting it in the sunlight and the moonlight and then drinking from that. Again, I'll put the pink Himalayan salt in there, a quarter of a teaspoon to a gallon of water. I love to pray over my water and to energize it with beauty and love, and so that goes into my body, and a lot of people feel that that's a beautiful way to start the morning. I find it to be really beautiful. So being gratitude is one of the best ways to start bringing in goodness into your life. So praying over your food and praying over your water is great to practice to start if you feel like that resonates with you. So I'm doing that, and I'm really excited to be drinking my crystal water as soon as I get back, and I have everything all set up, and I'm very excited to start feeding my body in that way. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. I'm going to probably do one more nutrition talk toward the ends of the program, and I'm hoping everybody has some questions that come up that we could share together during this week about our nutrition struggles. I'm trying to stay away from sweets. It's a chronic battle for me. I believe I'm a sugar addict, and it's really hard to admit that, but it's something that I'm working with and I'm trying to live with, and I'm trying to bring into balance in my life and be okay with doing it at a controlled level if I can, but at this point I'm trying to withhold from it because I think it helps me to stay on track with the whole of my diet. And at some point, maybe there will be a time when I don't do any sweets, when I don't need them anymore, when I feel better not doing them. And seeing that immediate reward, my body feeling good from avoiding those kind of things. So I would love to hear what you got from the talk, what you wanted to hear more of, which I could include in part 2, and what we're doing this next week. We'll be discussing this and then working on our second week of the program. And make sure you're hydrated in between your meals. Make sure you choose those times that we're eating the meals, and only those times, and not eating after we eat dinner, to be able to sleep and digest easily and feel better, and continue to move closer toward our goals of eating well and eating happy and loving the way that we're eating and moving and feeling better in that respect, and then sleeping really well. So good night, and have a great week.